Albert Einstein famously said, the definition of a madness is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. Hey, I'm Kev. I own Pinnacle Coaching, a fitness coaching business that aims to get career-focused men and women in the shape of their lives with a lean beach body by using our sustainable phased approach. I wanted to share everything that I've learned in the month of February. I'm a terrible businessman, so I just want to document exactly what I'm doing in the hopes that someone else in my position can follow along, maybe take a little bit of something from this, see what observations I've made, and ultimately, if you might well be better at this than I am. So feel free to leave a comment with your thoughts. It'd be great to collaborate on just building and developing great things. So February was a very interesting month. There were many ups, many downs. I want to share the good, the bad, the ugly, and more importantly, how I'm adjusting and adapting to that moving forwards. Now, obviously, one of the things is that I've committed to posting a little bit more on YouTube. I bought this camera, so I want to get the most of it because one important lesson was that outsourcing can be really good, can be really bad. So definitely to be careful about that. But let's start with the basics. What good happened in February? The business grew, which is good. That's what we want. Things remain on the up, and especially after a very good January, leveraging the new year, new me very nicely, playing with some new strategies. I was actually kind of skeptical about February because it is naturally going to be a little bit of a quieter month. There is the element of, people want to give it one last shot themselves, which did play a little bit into the marketing in January. If you haven't been, again, going back to Albert Einstein's quote, if you've been doing the same thing over and over, you'd be a bit of an idiot to continue doing that same thing, right? Stop looking for the shortcuts and just sign up. And usually that leverages itself nicely into February. February was a little bit quieter in terms of revenue, but we did get new levels of client numbers by using some of the strategies that were working nicely through the back end of last year. So we actually ended up getting to a point, this is probably the highlight of my February, which was hiring a new coach under our brand. This was really cool for so many reasons. Number one, basically because it meant that I'd basically fulfilled my dream of being as hired as I cared to be, being as packed as a coach as I cared to be, full up. I couldn't really work with any more clients, which is a really cool thing to say, because if I rewind to when I dropped out of my job way too prematurely and went all in on this, my goal was to always be like, a fully booked online coach and, have a waiting list. Or now, I realize you can continue to scale your operations by having someone else contribute to the fulfillment of clients. And obviously this was important because I wanted to be able to continue to have a greater and greater impact. I want to build a business that will service thousands of men and women in the years to come and help them achieve their fitness goals, change their lives. But obviously there's only one of me, only so many clients that I can deliver a 5-star level of service to. I didn't want to make this a group program. I know that the ability to change someone's life in the way that we do relies on our very hands-on, personalized approach. So I needed to be able to find a way to continue to deliver that, and that was by having someone else now start to take on clients under me. So that was really cool because it means we can continue to have that impact, and it also means that I get to give someone else the luxury of a stepping stone into the coaching game. This was something that I was super appreciative of when people gave me a chance to work under them, and almost feels like it's come a little bit full circle, because all that I wanted was to be able to make an impact on the industry. For those who don't know, I've been asked by several mentorships to contribute educational materials to educating their coaches. I've coached some of the biggest names in the industry in terms of athletes. So to give someone to be able to give back to the industry and provide another great quality coach, this time working under my brand to continue to help more people, is really cool. But more importantly, when I think back to me jumping into this thing at the deep end, prematurely dropping out of my job because all I wanted to do was become a coach, I got off to the worst start imaginable. As I said, I knew absolutely nothing about business. There's still plenty that I need to learn about business, but I used to know absolutely nothing about business. So all that I wanted was like, I need to figure it out. I couldn't get clients. And that's why it's funny coming full circle now, because I get to give someone that stepping stone that I wish I had at that point to be able to get into the coaching game and start making a living off of doing something that I love. And in this first month, we managed to get my coach 6 clients, all for himself to work with. Now, I'm still being particularly hands-on with these clients. We ran a case study offer on my Instagram in terms of marketing to leverage some new additions to the service that would allow Ben, my coach, to deliver a seriously exceptional level of service. Now, they have been off to a really, really tremendous start, and that brings us nicely to then what then kind of comes going forward. What have we learned particularly from that? Well, the one-to-one aspect is really, really key. One-to-one time is something that is really missing in this industry because, of course, as you know, one-to-one in-person personal training started to die out a little bit more. The beauty of online coaching is obviously that it doesn't require that synchronization of schedules, but it means people are craving that human touch. So even just the things as simple as us offering, one-to-one calls with our clients as a full progress review every month or so seems to have gone down a treat. Tried this with some of my clients that joined in January, and it's been working like a charm. They seem so clued up immediately after those calls. It gives us a chance to really guide them on the implementation of our strategies. They come away super clear with what they know, with what to do. So they've been getting even better results just by us putting that in, which is quality. So scheduling these, getting them motivated, thinking about the long-term plan, because the way we structure things is to get people off to an incredible start. So they actually come onto these calls absolutely buzzing with the progress that they've made, and we then have the ability to actually nurture them into like, so you've achieved this already, what do you really want to achieve? We had a client this month say, like, I just wanted to get a flat stomach, but now I want to see what I'm truly capable of and get shredded, get a six-pack. And if you know the benefits that come with that, if you've been on a similar journey, then you already know why that'd be such a cool win. I had another client say that he had to get a brand new wardrobe because he already doesn't fit into his clothes, which is absolutely quality. And we said that we got a client that said that he's getting abs for the first time when all that he's ever been used to seeing is just belly rolls. So the program, the fulfillment side of things that we've been working on for the last year is fantastic. And we're going to leverage that going into the back end of this month with a full-scale launch with some little adjustments that we've made to the program that we've been working on. We are confident that this fulfillment is simply just second to none in the industry. The way that we've got things structured now are just leading to such great successes, both short-term and long-term, that I think we have actually cracked fulfillment when it comes to our method of delivering results. This personalized approach where we are very, very hands-on and just aim to give a first-class experience. We want it to be like you're at a 5-star hotel, and we know you by name. We know what you need when you need it. We're attentive. It's just meant to be an experience is the best way that I can think to phrase it. However, with things growing so nicely, it was a little bit annoying to see revenue actually drop a little bit below January. And literally the only reason for this is because even though we signed up a good few clients, we offer both paid in full and monthly packages. So of course, if you sign up a bunch of clients in full and they sign up for a 4-month program, which is what our first phase is, then if you just sign up monthly clients the following month, obviously there is a minimum commitment to that. So you're contracted a similar amount. Obviously, if you pay in full, you get a little bit of a discount. But if you pay monthly, then naturally that means that the revenue of the business does sink a little bit. So that then prompted discussion with my mentor about sort of pricing structures. I still haven't quite decided exactly how I want to play that, because I did realize that when you go all in on something, you're going to be determined to make it work. So I realized a clear trend of everyone who paid in full in January seemed to be like really, really on it. These have been the guys that have been like absolutely crushing it from day one, getting the craziest results. So it seems to come with that next level buy-in of your investment of energy. It's like, okay, I've paid this, I want to really make it worth it. So there's that. Everyone just wins, because it means that obviously then that upfront cash I can then invest right back into the business quickly to help it grow even more. So that can be used on things like ads, on equipment, etc. on courses. I'm always investing in myself. Back end of February, we're now into March. There was a little bit delay on it from the guy who's creating it, but I invested in another course to work on myself and be the best man and businessman I can be. So it does make me think, like, in terms of like sales and stuff. One thing which I've been suggested to do is basically just have your package this month, 16-week program costs this much, the full option, and then based on people's availability, just kind of like break it down more and more, which is potentially a decent option. I still need to kind of iron out, as we now bring the new coach up to speed, exactly how different pricing structures and stuff are going to work, because at the end of the day, it is just a very bespoke package. So potentially having a few different tiers or something to work with, depending on the systems used, could well be the way forward here as we continue to grow. So depending on quality of leads and everything in March, that will then be something that we look into. Along with that, along with kind of the analysis of who are our best clients, why are they getting the best results, in the industry, I seem to have noticed like a big shift towards personal brand, towards content that's really aimed at attracting clients to you as a person, a little bit less kind of shop floor experience, what I call it, right? Where someone comes to the page, I'm immediately like, yo, thank you for the follow. Do really appreciate the support. Is there any help that I can give you at the moment? It's just good service, the same as when you go to a shop. But what that can lead is to almost like premature leads jumping onto calls, potentially actually making like bad decisions, but ultimately just getting us nowhere. It doesn't serve. Unfortunately, when you can change someone's lives, people will sometimes actually make really bad financial decisions to go along with it. Sometimes that is then very quickly uncovered, which then kind of leads to a whole mess of like, well, now I've told people that there's only this many spaces left and this is just a massive mess. So the big difference for March is really going to be focusing on more qualified leads. I had a catch-up call with one of my clients, one of those one-to-one calls, and one of the things that he told me was that, Kev, I really, really resonate with your ethos. The way that you explain things not only really makes sense, but the message behind your business, the whole Pinnacle thing, it really, really does speak to me. And I was basically like, cool, we need more of these type of clients. How can we do that? Content is a big one. I tried outsourcing. So hiring a coach went really, really well. Hiring everything else didn't. Because things grew so much in January and we had a decent bit of money to reinvest into the business, I was basically like, right, let's hire a bunch of people, let's remove some of the workload because I'm drained. And what that meant was maybe some premature hires. I worked with some videographers that, unfortunately, long story short, basically screwed the entirety of my material, which is why I'm now talking to my new camera. I then also invested in a video editor. And unfortunately, they've just gotten really, really slack. So I need to message him in a moment and be like, sorry, it ain't working. But what's cool is that content seems to be making a really, really big shift towards a lot more personal stuff. And I think as a result of that, minimal editing is required, just being a bit more raw and authentic, recording more of your day. Because people are doing that, they don't have time to be sending it off to editors. So now I'm seeing all these big creators just do like the basic captions on CapCut. You just press auto captions. They don't put any fancy, karaoke colors, whatever, and they just upload their content like that, because the script is a really, really big one. It's almost like copywriting. You need to understand how to hook your audience in. As well as that, the scenery changes, the voiceovers are a great example of this. Really helps keep audience engaged. And if that is doing the trick, then you don't need to A, waste money and reduce profits, and B, be scrambling for time on the back end, because if your videographers fuck up your content, then you're then behind on sending it to your editor, and then especially if they're getting slack, then you're going to be very behind in terms of posting your content as scheduled. So I'm back to doing all of my own content, the filming, the editing, the everything, because I intend on just keeping it a little bit more scrape down to the bare bones, really. So that element of outsourcing failed miserably. That'll be changing this month. And the messaging will be changing therefore as well, because I realize that our ethos does actually really resonate with a great group of people. And that group seems to be predominantly men. Our best clients do seem to be men. We can get results with women. We've done it before. But I think with the real sort of striving for more element of life, I think really appeals to men. When I reflect on my story and having no purpose and wanting to really kind of shoot for the top and building this thing from the ground up, just step by step, I think that speaks a lot more to men, which is why they generally tend to relate to what I'm saying a little bit more. So I think we're going to be looking to build a program specifically now for men, which means that the influencers I was using at the back end of last year, we now need to think much more closely about influencers. This was something that I started to scale a little bit more, working on collaborations with people with larger followings to get more eyeballs, basically to just reduce the cost of ad spend. The results of that were mixed. We've had some absolute gems, and we've had some, that unfortunately haven't yielded the return that we want. So it means that we're going to have to go back to the drawing board in terms of influencers, really think about audiences, and therefore what I'm kind of like feeling right now is from what's worked is almost kind of a little mixture of everything. As you scale more and more, you get diminishing returns, right? In a coaching perspective, if anyone else is a fellow coach watching this, then if you have 10 clients, you can give them unparalleled attention and all of them will get results. If you're working with 1,000 clients, you're going to be spreading yourself a little bit more thin. You should still be able to create a good standard of service, but there's no denying that the more you work with, there will inherently be more people as you sign them on. Even if you were to give them the highest standard of service, there will be more people percentage-wise who, especially if they weren't as motivated in the first place, you're not going to be able to quite help get the results. So we were like, you know what? If we really dial things down and focus on qualified, really good quality leads that are our ideal client avatar pretty much exclusively, that is going to help with growing the business, because it is, number one, it's going to help with the LTV. It's going to mean that they stay on longer. That, of course, is a massive benefit when it comes to growing. If people are out the door as quickly as they come in, things are at the very most going to hit a standstill, if not potentially then decrease. So now, taking the fulfillment ideas that we were working on, we're now going to construct a program specifically around this for that specific kind of demographic a little bit more, because I know that we've got something here that we can really use to benefit every single one of that clientele, get them insane level results, and that is going to be the key difference going forward for March. So we're going to be bringing things back to basics a little bit. It's going to be just a little bit more me. It's going to be a little bit more showing people why I am the coach for them. Obviously, my story, is an important part of that. So getting a little bit more of my thoughts and my story out there is going to be key. And ultimately, that should mean that back end of this month, we should see something pretty special and never done before hit the market. So that is what will be changing for March. That is what I learned in Feb. I learned that some people are dicks, some influencer responses were pretty funny, and yeah, we're just going to be leaning things down to the basics. So let's see what happens. I'll report back soon. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.